Hello, everybody. I am Laura Jensen with the American Meishan Breeders Association, and I am here today with somebody I think that you guys are going to learn a lot from. This is Heather Delaney, and I'm going to let her introduce herself to you. Tell us about yourself, Heather.
Hi, I'm Heather Delaney. As Laura said, I live in Bandon, Oregon. I'm on the coast here on the southern coast of Oregon. We run Northwest Farm, where we raise Meishan pigs, obviously, as well as rabbits and chickens, and I have dairy goats.
Yeah. So what is your purpose? Are you do you try to do genetics with that, or what's your goal? That's a broad range.
Yeah. Our business plan is not while I do provide piglets and breeding trios to local people, that is not our business plan. It's just as kind of a side part of it. Our goal is to get Meishan pork to the people.
Woohoo! Love that.
And that's our way of preserving the breed, because if people are if people know about the meat, about the pork, then they're going to keep buying it, and then we're going to cat. Sorry.
The cat's there to help. That's a farm problem for sure.
Just like how Kobe beef has become like people know what that is. It's a recognized thing. Yes. So if we can get people to recognize what Meishan pork is, then it's going to increase the demand for the animal, which will then inspire people to continue to breed them.
Yes. So there's so many things I want to talk about, but I love that you use that language. So last night, which was July 26th, this is the 27th that we're filming this, that was the dinner through my retail store. And the presentation that I made to the people that we didn't know from anywhere, just foodies that came to the event, was we're presenting you with Meishan pork that is at the same level of Kobe and Wagyu. And we'll talk when it's over. But I feel strong that the Meishan needs to be right there with those names. And I love that you see that too. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we, my husband and I, we market it in a way that speaks to like what you said, foodies.
Yes.
Right. We talk about the finer grained fat, about how you shouldn't overcook it, about how when you prepare your meal, the fat melts away at a lower temperature and it self-bastes the meat, and it results in a more tender, more juicy, more flavorful end product.
Yes, definitely. So do you only work with registered stock or registerable stock?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Fantastic.
So my sows and my boars are all registered. Okay. Obviously we don't register our grow outs.
Right. Not the feeders or the barrows. Okay, so you definitely obviously see the value in what the Meishan, the registered or pure Meishan, can bring to the table there.
Correct. Yeah. And the places that I retail to or wholesale to, they use that in their marketing as the certified pure Meishan pork. Okay, and that's something that I really want to start utilizing, because with work like you're doing and a couple other places across the country, we are at that point that the service mark can become reality. And that is, like you touched on, the official service mark is AMBA, certified Meishan pork. That is registered and on file as a defendable mark. And the way that was set up, in case you didn't know that story, when I was working with Rico to establish the AMBA, and after we ate the pork, I said, there has to be something. This is an Angus beef in the making. And how do we set it up so that it can be that? Hence the service mark. So what we've talked about is I've got some in the mail to you so that you can start putting that sticker on your products as well. And then, of course, we need to build out a website through the association to identify where these products are available. So I love to hear that you've got people interested in that fact, certified Meishan pork. And then you touched on another great point. How many markets are you in? 5? Is that right? Wow. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Okay. So you grow them and then you've put them in markets. You don't have a retail store, butcher shop, anything like that. You're growing them and then getting them out to other places.
Yes. So I'm I'm gonna plug my places real quick.
Yes, please.
So we start on the farthest south part of the Oregon coast in Brookings with Otter Bees, and Kathleen runs Otter Bees. It's an online. You order your meat, and she order or your. And it's not just meat; it's like produce and everything.
Yeah, online
And so
CSA
then
kind
you
of thing.
order online, and she delivers. Then we move up to Port Orford. I'm in the Port Orford Food Co-op. And then Wildwoods Gypsy. They're just between Port Orford and Bandon. And so she has a farm stand. So I'm there. In Bandon, we're at Farm and Sea. And so she has a great shop. And she kind of has a shop, I think, that is similar to yours. I haven't been there. Where she has like the high-end pastas and sauces. And, you know,
Good.
she also
Yeah.
sells fresh fish. And then the Coos Head Co-op, which is in Coos Bay, and Walt's Poorhouse, which is a bar restaurant in
Very
Coos Bay.
good.
And
So,
then I do a few farmers markets.
So what I hear, the majority of what you do is not a restaurant. You're selling to the end user largely.
Correct. I'm only in one restaurant right now. Last summer I was in a couple more, but the high-end restaurants that want the Meishan tend to only want the really high-end chops, and I just don't have the capacity to keep them in stock regularly.
Yeah, did we talk about that? They wanted the T-bone or the porterhouse chop.
Correct.
And there's really only 4 of those that are the true, and the same thing on a cow. So it's a volume game. So that's great that they loved it. But yeah,
they loved it, and I'm only processing about 4 pigs a month. I just wasn't able to keep up with the volume that they needed.
Yeah, that's good.
I also do, like I said, for the farmers markets, and then direct to consumer. So people buy just cuts or what I call a variety box that I sell in 20-pound increments.
So does that help you move through your carcasses so that you're not hung out with anything? Was that one of the purposes of that box?
You know what? I really move through more stuff through farmers markets. So the farmers markets is where I am able to move the less desirable cuts. So like the last 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday, I only take like 4 ears, but I sold out of ears, sold out of heart. I'm always sold out of tongue.
Wow.
Liver. The only thing is hard for me I sold out of tail.
That's good.
The only thing that I am having a hard time moving right now is kidney.
Yeah.
I sell leaf lard.
Good.
In the fall, I sell a lot of back fat for people who are processing venison and elk that are making their own sausage. Yeah,
very good. So it's interesting that your markets seem to have worked themselves out into balancing out your runs each month. That's interesting.
Yeah, so some of the things I use to market those, like the offal, I have a lot of people who are buying it for their raw dog food diets.
Raw feeder people, yes.
Yeah, you know, it's warm, so the people are walking through farmers markets with their dogs. Hey, your dog looks hot. I have a frozen ear. That seems like a great thing to give your dog, a frozen ear to chew on to cool him down. It's a nice little treat.
What a great idea. You're a salesperson at heart, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So is that what it took? How did you go from, I'm jumping into the Meishan, I'm doing this farm thing? Because if I remember right, you are the point on your farm. Your husband helps, but he has other ventures that he does, and this farm is your thing, right?
Correct. Yeah, he has his own business. He does my website, and he's my marketing and sales mentor, my business mentor. He's ran his own business for many years. And so he has given me a ton of pointers. But yes, I am the one that's on the farm. I do the feeding every day, you know, taking care of. He's a little hands off with the animals. He does all the infrastructure.
So what was it like knowing that you now have pigs to sell, and you started from nothing? You had nowhere to sell these things. Can you walk us through what that experience was like for you?
You have to make a lot of calls, send
Yeah.
a lot of emails, and then
Mhm.
put on your I'm going to town clothes and go
I
knock
love
on
that.
doors, right? You know what
Yeah.
we all know
Yeah.
what that means, right? You
Yes.
know,
Go into town
wash
face.
your hair,
Yes.
put on a little mascara, and then go glad hand,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, because business owners are busy,
Yeah.
right? They're not always able to get back to emails or respond to calls, but if you show up and you plan it correctly, when you know they're going to be there, but maybe it's a slow time. So a restaurant that's going to be like 3-4 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Where they're in the restaurant, but they haven't
Yeah.
hit their busy time yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Great point.
Go knock on doors, tell them what you have,
Uh-huh.
give them samples.
I was going to ask about that. Did you go through a ton of samples? I mean, if you had a prospective place in mind and you could connect, because it sounds like you have to connect, what would you take them to experience the Meishan?
It depends on what the restaurant is. So the higher end restaurants, I was taking them the really great cuts of the pork chops.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
Right now I'm at Waltz, and it's kind of more of a beer joint, right?
Mhm.
And so they wanted pork belly, so I
Okay.
brought them pork belly.
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of depends on what it is.
Know your audience. Yeah, know what you're
Correct.
targeting. Yes. Okay.
Correct. With the food co-ops, because their customers want kind of the more natural, they're really interested in how the animal is raised. They want it to be raised ethically.
Mm-hmm.
So I use that because all of our pigs, you can see it's very forested. I don't have, we're not pasture raised. I call it forest foraging pigs.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So we talk about that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So advice that you would give somebody that's watching this, because we have a ton of people that are coming up behind you that would want to know how to move their pork. It's a scary position to be sitting there going, dates are coming, pigs are growing, feed bills growing. What would be your advice? What would you tell them to do to be successful?
I think that farmers markets are a great place to start.
I agree, to start.
It gets your name out there, you get recognition.
Mm-hmm.
And then those people start buying from you, maybe not even from the market, because every time somebody comes and buys, I hand them a business card and say, if you need anything, send me an email, because I don't bring everything every week. But if you send me an email, give me your order, I'll bag it up, set it aside so I don't sell out, put your name on it. I do once a week deliveries, or pick like meetups for them to pick up. You need to have a great website.
Yes. Yeah.
If people can't find you, they can't find you. If they can't find you, they can't buy from you.
Right. So what do you think makes a great website? I mean, to me, visually appealing is kind of a duh, but what do you think sets your website apart that helps you make sales?
Minimize it. Like you don't need, like, make it simple. Make it easy. You don't need a whole lot of clutter. And my husband does that part, so I don't know about all the search engine optimization, but you need to use keywords.
Right. Yes.
So you end up at the top of a Google search.
Yes. Yes. What is your website?
Nobody goes to the second page.
No, the second page, you might as well be dead. Yeah. First page is where it's at. Give us a plug. What is your website address?
www.thenwfarm.com.
All right, cool. So if anybody has a question of what clean looks like, they can use your website as an example. Now, do you sell livestock on there or meat, or is it just informational?
Everything.
Okay, so you do have sales pages on there. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
A nice clean logo helps.
Yes.
People love to wear our gear.
Very cool.
So you can see my shirt.
I love that.
This is what the back of it looks like.
How smart is that? Love it.
So like people love to wear our gear.
Wow, that's fantastic.
We hand out a bunch of this stuff. Here's my pig one.
Oh man, that's great.
Yeah. So with large orders, well, I sell the shirts at farmers markets, but then with large orders, I just give people a shirt or a hat.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
They like it.
Absolutely. It keeps them coming back. It locks in that memory, I would think,
Correct.
and they know to come to you for these things.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's really cool. So are you using something like a Shopify or Woo or GoDaddy that's got a shopping cart feature on there, or?
No, and honestly, most people don't order, even though we have, like, you can check the boxes and order the pork off of our website. Most people end up just sending me an email with their order.
Okay. Yeah. And what I have found is that's about training your customers. So I think it's wise that you've picked a pathway and an email so that you're not checking 6 different places looking for something.
We don't have a way to do the monetary transaction on our website.
Okay. Okay. That still keeps it simple though, really.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And it saves
good.
us a little money because then we're not paying processing fees.
Yeah, that's true. So how long have you had Meishans? I'm trying to remember. I know we worked together in 2020.
Yeah, so we're going into our 3rd year.
Okay, wow. And you've built it up to 4 hogs a month from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is that like? Like one of the questions I got is how do you plan for litters and piglets? And it gets to be precarious. And I know we've talked about this in that piglets on the ground versus sales. What's your strategy for that? Obviously, you've developed something that's working for you.
Yeah. So I keep, and a lot of people don't do this. So I keep 2 sows in a boar together, and I just let them breed on their own.
Okay.
Like they plan their own breeding, farrowing, all of that. And it works out to about 2 to 3 litters a year per sow. And then I keep a spreadsheet for who is in which pasture, how many I have there when they were born, and then because I like to process at about 12 months. And so when they're going to be ready to process, how many I'm going to have, and then how many I'm going to need. So say I have a litter of 12 and I'm processing for a month, and I process at 11, 12, and 13 months, then I know those are all spoken for, if you will.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if I have an extra litter that I'm not going to need to process at that time, we process them as suckling piglets.
You know, you were the one that educated me on that, and boy, has that got a lot of interest. So please share more.
Yes. So we process at like 8 to 12 weeks. And we process them here on the farm and market them for like rotisserie pigs or pit pigs, or people put them on like luau pig. People can put them on, they fit on a Traeger.
I was gonna say they'd fit on a grill perfectly, wouldn't they?
Yes.
That's really cool.
And they're very tender. I have a waiting list. Yeah.
So you're the other side of the country from me here in Georgia, and we get calls all the time for suckling pigs. And there's more demand in Georgia than there are suckling pigs available. So it's a really, really good concept. So I know when we first talked about it, my first question was meat yield on a suckling pig, and especially in the Meishan. Was it a good yield? Did anybody complain? What did you find about that?
No, nobody has complained. Everybody's putting them, like I said, on a grill, on a pit, or in a pit. And it ends up being real tender. You know, people are quartering them out, and it's just kind of, you know, putting them on a platter. And
it's almost like a chicken is what I hear. You could effectively quarter them in a way that you could serve it like a chicken. Am I?
And
that's interesting.
You know, it's kind of like pulled pork almost, because it's, you know, it goes on the grill, and so they're not cutting them into like chops
Uh-huh.
or belly, everything's cooked the same.
Yeah. Now are you leaving skin on, or are you skinning them?
Skin on.
Skin on. I would think that would make it more tender.
And
So,
so we also, because we also have chickens, and so we have a scalder, and so we scald and scrape.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask next. You're reading my mind. You know, you just burn the hairs off, or what do you do? So that's a great multi-purpose use with your equipment there. Really smart.
Yeah, so we scald and scrape.
Okay. Yeah, it probably doesn't take very long with that smaller pig.
No, I mean,
cool.
The Meishan's hair is, you know, longer, more coarse, so it does take a little bit more work, but
yeah, but nobody's really eating that at the end of the day either.
No, especially when it goes on the grill or whatever, what's left over burns off.
Yeah. So a couple questions about your farrowing operation. So you don't really interfere. You never pull your boar out. You just let them do what they do, and it works out, huh?
Yeah.
That's great. That's great for the Meishan too. I've heard a lot of people that are able to do that. The boar just kind of leaves them alone, knows when he needs to leave them alone. Is that what you see as well?
I do. And yeah, they're, you know, yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, and he's really, even when the piglets come, because, you know, I have a litter out there right now, and the piglets are crawling all over him, jumping on his head.
Oh, that's what everybody says. Like, he helps raise them at the end of the day when people are able to set that up as a farrowing operation. So.
Yeah, the other day I was out there watching him because it was just so funny, and he's just laying down like in the sun and like bumping his head around, like playing with him. They're jumping on him, and he's kind of like, you know, because their piglets are jumping around doing zoomies.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And then my other question, you say you process around a year old. What kind of hanging weights are you seeing at that point? And what is your hanging weight? Head on, head off, feet on, feet off, things like that.
No, they do everything, because I go to USDA, so it's skin on. It is just eviscerated.
Yeah, gutted effectively. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm getting like 250.
Wow, that's fantastic.
But that's head on, and you know.
Yeah, we just weighed ahead for what it's worth. It was 27 pounds. I'd always figured them to be about 30 pounds. So
yeah, I always figure them to be about 25, but so we're right in the same ballpark.
Yeah, same thing. So that's good. That's a very
but I do recommend people take everything when you have your animals processed, because I'm selling ears for $2 a pop, and they weigh like less than a quarter pound.
Yes.
And so when you take everything, like I sell my tongues for $5 a piece.
Wow.
My hearts for $5 a piece, you know, and so all of that adds up.
Yes, I agree. I've always said pennies make dollars. And granted, I mean, everything's gone up, but $2, when you can do a lot of $2, string all that together, and you could put another $20, $30 or more on your bottom line instead of just throwing it away.
Same with like trotters. I keep my feet.
Yep.
I sell those $5 a pound. My pitch on that is they make a fantastic broth. So you get a bone broth, but you also get the benefits of the collagen.
Yes.
So the health benefits, and then your broth has a more full mouth feel. When you cool it, you get that nice thick layer across the top.
Yeah, that's when you know it's perfect, right?
Yeah, it's fantastic for the base of like a noodle soup, like kind of an Asian inspired soup. Sell it all. People buy it. Don't waste anything.
Right. And I know some people that cook tails that they say they're delicious.
I have people that order tails. I actually sold out of I only take 2 tails to market. I sold out of them on Tuesday. I sold one yesterday.
That's fantastic. I was just looking over our list of questions really quick to make sure I didn't miss anything, because you're a busy lady. It's been tough for us to get together with both our schedules. I know we've been planning this for a couple of months. I just couldn't be happier for how you're doing with the Meishan out there, and especially moving into the meat world and the service mark side of it. It is such a benefit and bonus to the breed to have you on our team, helping the Meishan be all it can be.
Well, you got me started in this.
Yay, it worked. Yeah, that's good. A couple other questions that I just wanted to throw out there, unless you got something you want to talk about, and of course we're happy to do that too. But where are you going with the Meishan? What I see where you are now. Is it to maintain the course? Do you have another direction that you'd like to go with it? What's your thoughts there?
I'm working on. I want the Meishan because right now we don't have breed standards, right?
So,
Like
very loose standards, I would say.
yeah. So I'm working on getting a pig that we're not a commercial, we don't have commercial animals. They don't look like that, but I
Right.
want it to get, I want an animal that has a wider back,
Yes.
a bigger
Yes.
animal, a faster growing animal.
Yes.
So that's, now that I have the volume, now I'm able to kind of work on kind of honing in
Yeah.
the body type.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that we're there. As you know, when we started, it was a precarious adventure. So we weren't sure exactly when we'd be at this point, but here we are. And that's one of my personal focuses too, is it's all there within the breed. And it sounds like you see it as well. It's in there. We just need to figure out how to make the most ideal meat pig from the Meishan possible. And would you agree with that statement?
I do.
Yeah, good.
I do. And I think, you know, it's hard to hone in on that when you're just getting started because you're just trying to get piglets, right?
Right.
But once you get a little bit bigger,
yeah,
then you can
yeah,
work on that. And I think, you know, responsible breeding practices, you know, let's not breed animals that, you know, have obvious faults.
yes, yes, exactly. Excuse me. And I think we've got genetic diversity out there as well. And I know there's people that focus on that and always will and always should. Really, we need people that do that too. But I think one of the beautiful things about the Meishan is it can go so many directions. I think it really can be whatever your farm needs. I think there's a version of it that can work for it. So
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I know you've got several young kids. Any
I
issues with
do.
that in the Meishan? Is that how's that worked for you?
What's that?
Have you had any issues with Meishans? You know, the whole pig, the worry about pigs and children. Have you seen any concerns?
No.
Good.
No. My twins are 4.5 and my little one will be 3 next month. So I have 3 boys under 4. And they come out and they feed with me nearly every day. They go out and they pet them. Yeah, no issues ever.
Good. That's fantastic.
No issues
Well, all
ever.
right.
And they don't even, and they're easy to keep contained.
Yeah. They don't really push fences. Probably not tearing up your land. I don't think you'd have a hog or animal that would tear up your land. So
I mean, you know, you read that they don't root. They definitely do.
they do. We call it shallow rooters compared to some of those other pigs.
Yeah, they definitely do, but it's not. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to share? This will go up on the AMBA YouTube channel. Anything else you'd like for the world to know about Heather Delaney and the Northwest Farm?
Northwest Farm. I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that I've shared everything I have.
Yeah.
Great website. Knock on doors. Be friendly.
Be aggressive in piglets and moving those out early.
Yeah, that's great for herd management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So somebody looking at getting into the breed, what would you say?
Do it.
Do it. I knew you were going to say that.
Do it. You
Yeah.
will not find a better tasting pork chop from any other animal.
Agreed. All right. Well, y'all, you're going to see more of Heather. We're going to get these service mark labels out to her, get them on her products. We're working to get that going this year. If you think you're eligible to use our service mark, please reach out to me. It's something that we're donating to the farms that we know are going in that direction this year, so we can get that off the ground. And as always, thank you guys for watching and listening. And Heather, thank you so much for your time. I'm grateful for all you do. All right. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.